Ready? So today we are finishing up the third week of Advent. Just to recall, remember the first week of Advent was about hope. Second week was about faith and believing in God's promises. The third week was about joy. And we're leading into the fourth week, which is about love and God's love for us. And I think today in the readings we have a story of a woman who had been barren all of her life. She and her husband wanted a child so badly. And God gifted her with Samson. And he had special rules for her to follow when she was pregnant, and then later on with Samson himself. And then we have even the psalm relating to how the elderly have faith in God and continue to believe and hope in God's promises. And they know that God will bring them joy, and God brings them love. So kind of tying all of that in together. And then the gospel reading is about Zechariah and Elizabeth and how they desire to have a child. And God, once again, offering up the promises that were offered up for a child to be born to this elderly couple, Zechariah and Elizabeth had John the Baptist. And so we see, again, this idea of hoping for a child and then believing that God will give them that child, and then the joy of finding out that they will have a child. And of course, in the end, knowing that God loves them so much that he sees their desire and fulfills that desire for them in these children. And so what a wonderful thing to kind of bring all the different themes of Advent together as we prepare for this last week of Advent leading up to Christmas. And then for us, ourselves, realizing that we too probably have yearnings, desires that maybe we know that God can fulfill those promises, and we have faith in knowing that maybe it doesn't happen in the time that we expect it to, but eventually it will happen if that is God's will. And so I was actually listening to another person who does like a reflection, and he brought up a very good point that when we are in Mass and we're celebrating Mass together, and that time when the gifts are taken up that will be turned from bread and wine into the body and blood of Christ, that we also are asked to bring our own desires, our own cares to God and place them on that altar. And I think that really, what a wonderful thing that we can imagine that our desires are placed on the altar, and that God will fulfill those promises just as he did in the olden days. He loves us so much, even now, that it's no different. And we are God's children, and he cares for us as well. So think about that as you prepare to go to Mass this weekend, that maybe you too can place your cares upon the altar for the Lord to see. So God bless you. I hope that you enjoy your day and this little reflection from our sunroom. God bless.